Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Leland. Welcome to Level Up Academy by Dr. Leland podcast. Okay, brought to you by me. But I wanted to just remind you all to be kind today, smile, put laughter, whatever you need to do. Okay. And here is my intro. Welcome to Level Up Academy podcast, where we explore the diverse set of skills that can be applied across various industries and professions. Each episode will deep dive into the world of transferable skills, discussing topics like communication, problem solving, critical thinking, and more. Join us as we speak with experts in different fields and share stories of individuals who have successfully transferred their skills from one industry to another. Whether you're a recent grad, a mid-career professional, or someone looking to make a career change, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's discover how you can leverage your existing skills to excel in any industry. Welcome to Level Up Academy podcast. This is your host, Dr. Leland, a serial educator, an opportunities designer, and a compassionate leader. Are you a curious student, eager to learn new skills and make your mark in the world? Or are you a professional seeking to advance your career and unlock your full potential? You need to be equipped with effective soft skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, and more. The Level Up Academy by Doc Leland bridges the gap between education and employment through transferable skills training. Get the soft skills you need to be more effective at work. Are you all effective? Are you at work? Are you watching the show? Team Replay it is. We have a lot of friends all over the continent. Guys, help me. Like literally, okay? I need that seventh continent. That is your homework. If you want to help me find a penguin that will listen to Antarctica. We need Antarctica. Okay, people, please. I'm sure you know some scientists that live in Antarctica. I feel like only scientists and penguins live in Antarctica. A, it's cold. You'll never find me there. B, Michael Gale, I think, is going there in 2 years. I wish I really could go. But I'll be probably a deterrent from everyone because I'll be like, oh, guys, someone carry me. I can't get up. But I would love to have someone from Antarctica. So let's go ahead and say hello. Hi, Mohammed. How are you? Steven, what's up, brother? Oh, hey, sis. And welcome on board. That's right? Hello. Happy to see you, Mohammed. What's up? Lisa Marie's here. I don't see Lisa, but hello, Lisa. Ooh, Ruth, April's here. Thank you. Hi, Jim. How are you? What's up, sister? I saw your message. Praying for you. Oh, yes. Hello, sis. What's going down? Party is right in this corner, right? Seriously. Anyhow, I wanted to show people, they're like, what are you doing? Someone asked me yesterday, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of what the podcast is all about. This is a live stream, guys, okay? And my audio here gets extrapolated to my podcast, and this is my podcast that has been featured on all the things that you're looking at. I got busy, but 50 under 50. I know it's so weird when they like, do you want to be featured on 50 under 50? And I'm like, oh man, I'm getting old. I thought I was 21, but I guess not. Anyway, so that's where it's going soon. We'll see how that goes, and maybe LA Wire soon as well for the podcast. Okay, the podcast started as a education only. That means all my faculty as a dean were on there, and my students and their adversity and what they're going through and what education means to them. But when I quit as a dean, I explored all kinds of people because I find it interesting that in order for you to level up, you don't really need education. You need experience. And that is why I welcome everyone in here. But I love business. I'm biased on all of the other degrees out there, right? But I love business. I have a degree in science, in master's in science, but I still love business because I think it's the lifeblood of life. Without business, there's really nothing, right? I mean, we've been doing it thousands of years, like trading and everything and bartering. Anyhow, this is the continent that I'm in. Actually, this is not updated. I should update it. So all those reds basically is where I'm at. So Latin America, we still have more room in there. And of course, all our brothers down under is also on there. This is my website. And if you need workshops, if you need, I do free workshops, by the way. I'm going to open up a membership club, exclusive only for the people who wants to level up with me. And obviously, everyone is invited because there is a free membership. But if you really want to take it to the next level and really level up, I will be providing courses with micro learning, but it's not more of like, oh, theory, what is this and how did other people? It's more like we learned a theory and then let's do it now. So let's see if it works. And so anybody who is a gigpreneur, entrepreneur who has a business, I will also need to Zoom with you so I can add you on my business of directory. So anybody that's going to be on my circle has to be vetted because I don't want no scammers, no fakes, no pitch slapping. Don't do that. I will remove you for sure. And I will be looking for a moderator as well on that. So there's a lot of things happening in Level Up Academy soon. And then the people that are in the invited here to come here to the live, you automatically get your link through my YouTube channel as well, and also your broadcast on Facebook. All right. LA Weekly, shout out Dave W, Baby Boomer. By the way, there's a lot of podcasters on Baby Boomer. I know I'm not a baby boomer, okay, but I think my thoughts when I was invited in as an expert, my thoughts align with the old school of thinking. Yes, I love discipline. I discipline my kids, but they're still work in progress. Also, this one is from FeedSpot. There's a lot of podcasts in there as well, and I'm also featured on there. And then these are the distribution channels. If I pick and choose your audio, not everyone in my live streams audio is great. So I only pick and choose who have great audio. I will extrapolate it and put it on all 16 distribution channels. What's really cool is like I opened the iHeartRadio on my car. I was driving 3 hours and I'm listening to the audio because I wanted to remind myself what it was. And it's weird listening to myself on the radio. I'm like, what the heck is happening? It's still weird. And I invite you, if you're on my podcast, to go to like iHeartRadio or Apple Podcast, put it on your radio while you're driving, and you're like, whoa, I'm on the radio. That's weird. It's actually pretty cool feeling, but it's amazing when your kids tell their friends, they're like, you hear that? That's my mom talking. I'm like, ew, I even hate my voice sometimes. So, books, these are the 2 books that I've written. The reason I brought it up is because my sister Nicole Galindo invited me with Mr. Lee and a bunch of amazing people that's going to be doing a book that's coming out in July, first week of July, somewhere in there. And it's called My 2 Cents on Self-Love. So that's a 3rd book coming up. The first book I did is my dissertation. It's for HR people. It took me 5 years to finish that dissertation. So it is really great. I traveled to Philippines, Korea, Japan, to literally interview executive women. I have passion for women because I have 2 girls, and I used to do United Nations Ambassador for Women and Girls. My second book is with my team when I was a dean, and I created a summit for us. And it is in 6 different languages, and it's in academic publishing. So we're not going to talk about that anymore. We are going to talk about this. Okay. My podcast, my audio release is every Friday. I try to be consistent with the time, but I'm the only it, right? I'm the woman like goes in circles. I do all my shows, podcasting, audio rooms, director's job, teaching 6 hours a day, mommy duties, wife duties, dog mommy duties, like on circle. So My time on Friday sometimes fluctuates. I apologize, but it will be released on Friday. And then I have live stream, obviously, Wednesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. And then I have an audio room every Sunday at 7 a.m. PST with Nicole. And application, guys, go to luabyjacqueline.com. I think you only have like 15 or 16 more days left on your application for the 50 inspirational project that I'm doing. And you're probably asking, what is it? It's basically to elevate you. There is no game, there is no sales pitch, nothing. I just want to thank my community and elevate you and your story to the next level. And that means showing you on my website. And the reason you're like, why do I care about your website? My website literally is linked to all LA Weekly, to all of the magazines that I'm in. You're automatically in my website, increases your visibility, your SEO score if you care, search engine optimization, basically popularity on Google. It automatically increases your score when I put your name on my website. And that's what I'm trying to do for free. Like, why wouldn't you take that? It's not complicated. You basically submit your application. It has like 8 questions. I just want to get to know you so I can highlight you the best I know how. And then you submit a 5-minute video, and don't complicate that video either. Okay. Think of the video is your last willing testament to your great grandkids. What are you going to tell them? Right? Your lessons learned in your life up to today on what not to do and what to do. It's basically like think of it as a scroll, or like if you were in a cave trying to tell a story of please watch out for this. That is your version, your legacy, your impact. Own your story, like Nicole said, right? And that's really what I'm trying to do with this one. But you only have until July 1st. This is what we're doing, 7 a.m. PST. I haven't created the room yet, so don't be looking. It will come out on tomorrow, okay? Because there's so many lives, so I don't want to complicate your life. I'm going to make sure that it comes out tomorrow for the recording. And then if you win, you basically make sure you'll get my email. It will be coming from me. And then, of course, your video is going to be on YouTube. It's also going to be on my website. It's also going to be, you'll probably more likely get invited. We're going to do a panel in the end of July. We're going to do a panel discussion for all the winner. I don't know how I'm going to fit you all, but we're going to figure it out. Okay. And then also we would inquire and actually ask you guys to make sure you use the hashtag, these hashtags that we're providing for you. And that's it. It's because it's your legacy and your impact. Okay. So I know you guys are on your edge, like, who's going to be Ruth? So are you guys ready for my brand strategist, right? Tell me you're ready. Otherwise, it's not happening. Hi, Ruth. How are you?
I am great. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your time. I always want to make sure that whoever comes into the show has added value conversation, and you are full of added value. I've been watching you for a while, stalking your profile, just to see that you're consistently having that message, right? And what you stand for, what your business is all about. And ultimately, what I see is that your superpower is helping others realize their full potential through branding. Am I correct in that?
Well, I hope so. I mean, that is the goal, and that is definitely part of my purpose. And actually, you hit the nail on the head. I am. That is a big part of my purpose, is to support and inspire people and to guide them through the process. So yes, that is what I do, and this is who I am.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and start our question. Think back 20 years ago and find within your timeline some of the significant changes in your life that got you here where you are today.
Well, I'm gonna have to follow Avril's suit from yesterday. I do have to dig back a little deeper than 20. Um, but I originally come from Czech Republic, so I'm an immigrant, and it was it was when I was 9 years old, and my family moved around a lot. And so when I was about 9 years old, my dad gifted me the first camera. And because we moved around so much, the camera literally became my best friend. I started learning how to tell stories by taking pictures. And that really truly stuck with me up until today. I mean, storytelling is still very, very big. Now, when we came to Canada, of course, as immigrant family, I was expected to go and get a job, and but I wanted to be a photographer. So, against my parents' will, I went to school. I studied photography, and I ended up working as a commercial photographer for about 10 years in primarily in the food industry. But what I found really quickly was that clients were asking me for the full package. They wanted the design, they wanted the layout, they wanted the complete thing. And so I started digging into that, and I figured, well, how hard can that be, right? So I so I did, and I started digging into design, and very quickly realized that design was something that really truly inspired me, and I was actually pretty good at it. And so within a couple of years, I left photography professionally. I started outsourcing it, and I became a graphic designer. And through the next 20 years or so, I had my own studio, my design studio, and I work with a lot of food, again, food related companies, one of whom was actually one of my best clients. They gave me completely green light to do anything I wanted. And I published a magazine for them for 10 years. I did all of their branding. I was basically their marketing team. And and it was great, except that something was still missing. I was designing, and everything needed to be pretty, but I needed it to mean something, and I needed it to connect to the client and what they stood for. And so I heavily studied branding because I knew that that's where it was all at. That's where it starts, and that's really where we need to be. And so over the next number of years, I actually did study uh, branding on my own. I studied social media, I studied branding, I studied all of that. And then I connected with Avril, and we founded Viral Lessons. And through combining our superpowers, him being the business strategist and me being the branding person, with years and years of tactical experience, I became a self-proclaimed branding geek. And that brings us to today.
That's amazing. I'm trying to like wrap my brain around so many things that got you here today. It's because your self actualization was asking for more. You listened to your intuition and your gut, like, okay, this is nice and pretty. I've accomplished this, but there's something more missing. And
Mhm.
you went for it. You didn't just settle, right? You went for it and said, and you collaborated with Avril. That's why when you guys told me like we've known each other for so long, I'm like, ooh, this would be a great conversation, right? And it is. And so my next question is, what are the key elements of a strong brand strategy that sets successful brands apart from their competitors? I'm talking about, I have a lot of friends here who are small business owners, gigpreneurs, solopreneurs. When you're trying to out what you're trying to do, whether you're selling a service or a product to somebody, what are some of the strategy that you would provide for them to start first?
Well, I think that the first thing that's really important to understand that branding is everything. Literally everything that you do in your business um, comes right back to branding. And so it doesn't matter whether it's how you act at a party, how you answer the phone, how you dress when you go to a meeting, or how you put yourself out on social media. That is all part of developing a strong brand. And many people don't really make those connections. So I've seen people who have a beautiful brand identity, they have an incredible service, and then they go to a party and they embarrass themselves. and then it goes on social media, and well, your credibility goes down the drain. So it's really important to remember that that all has to work together. um, but before you start anything, um, I personally believe that branding is the umbrella under which marketing sits. It has to encompass everything, but we really can't start building a brand or have any strong strategy for it if we don't know who our client is. So, finding your ideal market, your ideal client, that is the first step before you can start building anything regarding your brand. So, that's where you need to start. So, I think that would be the first thing that I would even look into. Who is your ideal client? What is your purpose? Why do you even want to do this? Why do you get up in the morning? Right? That's really important to know, because if you're building a brand that you don't believe in and you don't believe that it's going to make a difference, it's not going to be very strong. So I think these are questions that need to be answered before you can start building any successful strategy.
Mm. Yeah, and I love that because the why, people are like the word why, like ask yourself why, blah blah blah, and it's been said, but I think it's really an individual journey of why you're doing it. And it's okay if you change your mission and vision, and it's okay if you change your purpose, because that's part of, the fascinating about life is I feel like there's a world map, right? And I'm this little itty bitty person trying to go into that little ant farm, trying to my way in, like, where are you going? I don't know. I'm just going around the world, and every single stop is an experience. And that's how I see it, is every single friendship, every single interaction, every single people I connect on the audio room are those little mini stops that I learned to extrapolate that experience and be here today. And I love that you said that why, because for me, for a long time, I knew that there was something missing and I want to help people. I've always volunteered, but I didn't really know my purpose. I didn't until, like, it took me 40 something years to figure that out. But I did. I did.
Mhm.
And I went and run with that. And that's how I brand myself. Even when I leave, and my kids will tell you, she's like, oh no, because her friends are like 19, 20, and they don't know what they're doing. They're like, I'm going to college. I'm like, really? What's your major? They're like, I think I like computers. I'm like, you think you like computers, or does your parents think you like computers? Because my dad used to push me too. And he's like, well, yeah, because they think. And I'm like, okay, what do you really like to do? I love photography, Mrs. Leland. I love the old school. I'm like, go for that. Go for that. Because if you're going for a degree that doesn't even go with your passion, you're wasting your time and energy, and you're going to hate education. And
Mhm.
I'm really for education, but not necessarily like a 5 year degree, but more of like, you can get a certificate and basically learn something in a month more than you learn in 5 years, right? And so I'm
Well,
like, do it, do it.
I think that personally, I mean, our life journey is school, right? I mean, we if we stop learning, well, then we might as well die, because
Yeah.
what's the point, right? And I mean, look, I started in photography, went into design, became a creative director. Now I'm doing, now I'm writing, I'm talking, I'm mentoring, and I wouldn't be doing any of that if I didn't know my purpose. And honestly, my purpose came from asking some deep questions and really digging back into my stories that go so far back. Actually, one of them goes as far as back as when I was 5 years old. And those, as I was telling the stories, and I did this process with Avril, and he was listening to all my stories, and he was probing questions. It all of a sudden became so evident that I was doing it all. I was supporting, I was always carrying people, I was always there for people. I just didn't realize that that was part of my why. And once I figured that out, all of a sudden it was so much easier to make those decisions. And all of a sudden, I wasn't questioning it anymore. I wasn't thinking, "Well, am I doing this for the right reasons?" No, my personal brand has become one with my business brand, and I wouldn't have known that if I didn't dig into my purpose, into my why.
That's beautiful story because you do need somebody because you can talk to yourself all day long. Listen,
Mm,
I'm an only child, so I talked to the wall when I was a kid, okay? And I'm like, "Hey, so how are you doing today?" Like literally people think I was nuts, right? Especially in Asia. I'm like, "Well, there's nobody else. I don't have brothers and sisters." So I my cousin doesn't come in till like summer, and then I wasn't allowed. It's a different story, but I live in the Philippines, but my grandfather would not allow me to have Filipino friends. That's
mm,
another story. So I couldn't just have anybody in the house. So I would talk to my maids, I would talk to my driver, and then they're like, "You can't talk to him." I'm like, "Oh." So, and I think knowing that somebody like Averill for you that helps you, hey, what about this, right? It's like that bouncing person that you can talk to. You
mhm.
need that because sometimes you're so into your head, you
Yeah,
need to get out of it and just kind of refocus yourself. And I wanted to highlight Janice here because she is an inventor of Tossie. I love your pillow, but sister, seriously, where's my pink one? I need that pink pillow. Okay, I cannot wait to shout it out loud to the world, and I'll be start selling it here in my neighborhood. Once you give me that pink pillow, I'm like, Janice is making pink pillow for me. Anyway, her story is beautiful and how, she created this product because of her dad, right? And it's so amazing that she actually like really is doing great on that because she's consistent with her personal and her business brand. So thank you for that. Kind of thoughts and saying, hey, this is what I did. And I like that you say, how you have a really beautiful thing and then you party and you do some crazy things and then, it's on TikTok and, you go viral in the wrong way and there goes your brand, right?
that's right.
Um, and so you have to be consistent with that. And personally, so I love that advice as well. And my third question is, how does brand positioning play a crucial role in capturing the attention and loyalty of your target audience?
Mm. Oh, I love that question. Um, well, we work on positioning brands all the time. And really, the positioning of a brand, again, goes back to your what is your purpose? Why are you doing this? And who are you doing this for? It goes to creating a promise. Every brand makes a promise. We make a promise on a personal level. I make a promise that I'm going to be a certain type of person. If I promise you that I'm going to be on your podcast and I'm going to be nice and I'm going to talk nice and I'm going to dress properly, and then I show up drunk wearing crazy clothes, well, then I didn't deliver on my promise, did I? And this is the same thing with business brands. We create an image and we put out a message and we're promising something to our clients. If we don't deliver on that promise, what we're creating really, we're creating a brand gap. And the bigger the brand gap, the less loyalty and the less credibility we have. And so you look at some of the brands like Nike or Apple. I mean, their brand gap is minuscule. It's tiny because they always deliver on what they promise. Well, almost always. So it's so important to position yourself so that you can speak to the right people, the people that you want to connect with, the people that are going to share the same values as you. And those are the people that are going to spread the message further. But in order for them to do that, we always have to make sure that we either deliver or over deliver. It's always better to under promise and over deliver than, you know, promise them the world and then just not deliver. So that is how you position your brand, is by making sure that you always deliver on your promise.
I love that. I teach at a project management class, and we go into detail of the technical software, hardware that you need if you need to, but mostly it's just software. And also the resources. Sometimes we go into a project where you don't have the budget or the people to help you with. Now, how are you going to make it happen? You're going to make it happen by thinking ahead, like you said, under promise, over deliver. You know what, Ruth, this project is going to probably take me, 6 to 7 months, knowing that on average, it could take you 4 months, but you don't have the budget or
Right.
the resources to run it with. So
Yeah.
you're going to stretch it. Now, if you always strive for the best though, and make sure that you can finish it early and within budget, because when you give it early, those people are like, wow, CJ, hello, right? And
Exactly.
then you're like the hero for the day at least, or for the hour for that matter. That you save the
Yeah, for
project and
sure.
everything else, and then and go forward. So I always tell people, hey, under promise, over deliver, under promise, over deliver. And I explain what that means. It's because, when you have a project, like if I refer you to somebody, I'm putting my name on the line for you.
Right?
Now, if I hear any noise that you didn't deliver, you're gone. I don't even have to ask you or what happened in your life. No, you made a commitment and a partnership with me that my word is good, right? So if I already refer you to somebody and you did not deliver to whatever you need to do, and I hear about that, I don't need to explain to you.
Mhm.
I don't have time to explain. Either you show up and do what you're supposed to do based on whatever business you're doing, or you didn't. And everything else that you're saying is this is to me. Nah, 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 nah. It's just noise.
I've worked on a lot of tactical projects and publishing a magazine. You can imagine how big of a project that is. So
Yes.
the team is very big. And whenever I created timelines for that, I always buffed all my timelines. So if I had an editor or I had a photographer, I would give them until Friday. But as far as my client is concerned, it will be done until next Wednesday,
Right.
just to make sure. Because you're right. If I deliver it on a Monday instead of a Wednesday, I'm a hero. But if I deliver it on Thursday morning instead of a Wednesday, I've just lost.
Confidence. Like,
Mhm.
can she do her job? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? And it's the same thing. This is when I used to manage. I was 22. I managed 100 people, and it was customer service and sales, and they hate each other. Customer service will be like, "Oh my God, you overpromised this customer. Da da da. They can save money, and now they're whatever." And then the sales is like, "I was told what I was doing in my computer. It was, all that, but they knew what they were doing." So what I do is I actually flip them. I made a cross functional team. I said, okay, for the day, the salespeople are going to be customer service. I want them to feel that pain. Okay. And so
Sure.
what I usually do if I have a problem child with my team is I'll put you the boss for the day. See how that feels, right? You're
Mhm.
complaining so much about my movement here, but you don't know what's happening behind the scene. That's why always people give grace because you don't know what's happening in their life, right? And you're only concerned about your feelings right now, your emotions right now, and the brand is not happening, blah, 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 blah. But you don't know what each and individual of your team, they're people too. They got something going on. So
Sure.
just give grace, but always communicate, right? Because when you are communicating all your projects, all that branding strategy is going to happen for you. I like what Nicole said. Where did she say something about this? Walk your talk.
Oh, we say that every day. You gotta walk your talk. And I can be out here and I can be telling you all kinds of really cool stuff about branding and brands and tactics and all that stuff. But if I then turn around and I don't deliver that to my clients, who's gonna trust me?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Now, this one, what are some effective strategies for developing a compelling brand identity that resonates with the consumer?
Well, I mean, first of all, you need to find out what is the product, right? Is it a product? Is it a service? Who is the product for? What is it going to mean to the client or the customer? And then you have to figure out, this is when we get into brand identity, and this is when you have to really start thinking about what is the brand voice, what is the brand look, what does it feel like, what does it smell like you have to figure out all these things before you can actually go into building brand identity. So I had a just as an example, I had a client years ago who came to me and he says, I just need to rebrand. Of course, they thought that rebranding meant we'll just create a new logo, which that's not brand identity, by the way. Just want to make that clear. That is part of it, little tiny part. But when they came to me, they said, "Well, I want the color to be pink. I want the main color of the brand be pink." And this was an industrial company. This was a plumbing company. And I thought, why pink? What is it supposed to reflect to the client? And they said, oh, well, no, but that's my wife's favorite color. And I thought, okay, let's go back to the basics here. I actually ended up not working with that client because he would not listen, and I knew that I couldn't deliver on this. I couldn't deliver something that he would be happy with and something that would represent the brand properly. So I think that the effective strategy is to first look at your product or service, find out what it is, find out who is it for. Because if you have a product that's supposed to be for kids that are on skateboards, you're going to be looking at a whole different identity than if it's a CEO on Wall Street. Very different. So those are all things that need to be understood. And then you really get into what is a part of brand identity. It is a logo, of course. It's a logo. It's the colors. It's the messaging. It's the tagline. It's the imagery. What kind of images are going to work with that brand? Is it something that's supposed to be very calming? Is it something that needs to be very energetic? Is it, all these things have to be in consideration. It's part of a big brand discovery that we do all the time, where we ask these questions. What is the voice? What does the brand want to look like? And how does it want to be perceived by others? That goes to messaging and taglines. So those are all things that need to be considered before we can even start talking about how are we going to build your brand identity.
Okay, lesson learned. I'm sorry, I love pink. I'm never gonna change it.
Good, me too.
Not
Yeah.
working with you. I was like, I'm too girly, okay? Like literally, I was my girlfriend yesterday. I was really kind of down. There's just so much going on, and then I'm like, just need to breathe because I don't want wrinkles when you're, closer to the age you don't want to be, but you're just like, time is not on you. You're still going to grow up old. And I was like, oh, I get old gracefully. That's what I'm going to do. And they're like, CJ, you're so vain. I'm like, leave me alone. I have one body. I got so much trauma in my life and I'm trying to do good for the universe here. Leave me alone. I literally was saying that. And you know what's funny is out of all that animosity, and I felt it on my chest and on my neck. And then my bulldog looked at me and she just jumped on my lap and start kissing me. And
Oh,
all I feel was tingly and happy, and I forgot my whatever that was. And then my boss called me again. I was like, stay here, Chi Chi, just stay here because I need to. So while she was talking about the problem, and I'm just like holding my dog, I was like, yeah, this is a great emotional dog. You are worth every penny I bought you for. That's what I said yesterday. I was like, oh my God. I was laughing, but then I was crying at the same time because I was so frustrated the situation. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? You just gotta laugh at it because there's things you can't control. You can't
yeah.
control people. You can't control weather. You can't control anything. And I hate the weather when it's gloomy. And I'm like, dude, I'm one of those people that get affected by weather. Right. And my migraine was kicking in. I'm like, oh, that's not a good thing. So I went to go work out with my daughter. And then we had some Jamba Juice yesterday. I'm like, I'm feeling good. Even though I'm still having floaty for a mom thing here, I'm feeling good. It doesn't matter. I can take the world today. And it's nice to just go look. But then I do look at some of the like apple, right? They're just white and apple is red,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you see, so now I'm teaching a business class and basically they're like, well, if because we were talking about branding as well. We were like, okay, if apple is red and they have white, like what are they trying to do? I'm like, I don't know. It's different for everybody. So when you look at their logo and their color, what does that make you feel? It's always about the emotions to me. What do you think
100%.
about that?
It's all about it. Branding is really all about how we put things together to make people feel. We want to make sure that people feel a certain way. And that's really what it is, because when it comes down to what it comes down to is it's really who is making the decisions. Is it your left side of the brain or the right side of the brain? Well, it's the right side of the brain. I hate to say that to all the people who are logical and analytical because they will fight me on this tooth and nail. But the truth is that the left side is going to justify our decisions, but it's going to be the emotional side that's going to finally make that move. And so everything that we do in branding has to have an emotional impact. That is the whole point of it. Whether it's the colors, whether it's the logo, whether it's the images that we put out there, the graphics we put out there, or whether it's just a tagline. And if you look at logos of Apple, yes, their original logo is white, but I've seen it in red, I've seen it in black, I've seen it in gray. So it really depends on what product are they putting it on and what emotion do they want to put out there for the right target market. Because I mean, Apple is diverse, right? You can have your iPhone, your iPad, you can have your computers. It is so diverse. The markets are very different. But there is one thing that's always in common, and that is it's individual. Apple is an individual. That's their point, is be different, be unique, be individual, right? So, but I think that the color, and that's why even when people go and say, I want you to build me or design me a logo, we build a brand with a logo. We never do just one logo. It's always variations of it, because you will need them in black, you will need it in white, you will need it in reverse, you will need just the icon, you will need the complete logo. There is different variations, and they will be used not only based on is it online or is it on printed piece. It's also who are you going to be targeting with that particular logo? What emotion do you want to put out there? It always comes down to emotions.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
is. And it's always that good story, the backstory of your product and service.
Hmm.
And um, I have a good story for you why I love education, but that's a different way of looking at things. My next question are, um, what are some effective well, hold on one second here. What this one. In today's digital age, what role does social media play in brand strategy and how can it be effectively utilized?
Well, I mean, in today's age, we can't live without social media. And I remember when we went into the pandemic and everybody was moving, everybody who thought about it and they were making that shift on social media, um, we came to realize that how just how strong and powerful social media is, and that we're not going back to pre-social media. So social media has to be a big part of brand strategy. Now, I think that the most important thing to discover when you incorporating social media into brand strategy is, again, who is your client and what is your purpose. Those are very important, because they're going to, once you know who you're doing whatever it is you're doing for, you're going to know where they live. Where do they hang out? Is it on LinkedIn? Is it on TikTok? Is it on Facebook? Is it on Twitter? Those are very, very important things to know, because once you realize, or once you define where they hang out, then you can start creating content and messaging for that specific platform. And if you're going to go, if your people are on LinkedIn and Facebook, chances are that the content may be very similar, but the messaging will be different, because you're messaging different group of people on a different level. So your offering may be a little bit different. So I think those are all very important to consider. But it is huge. I mean, we can't live without social media. So social media does have to be incorporated. And again, it's how do we want to make people feel when they read our content? Do we want to educate them? We certainly don't want to just sell them. We need
Mhm.
to build that emotional connection, because that is the whole point of branding, is developing that emotional connection between the brand and hopefully the potential loyal advocates. So yeah, I think it's important to realize where people hang out and then what message will be relevant, or what tone of voice is going to be relevant. But it certainly has to be incorporated.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Now, in an ever evolving marketplace, How can brands stay relevant and adapt to their strategies to meet changing consumer preference? I'm looking at, again, I have a lot of gigpreneurs and solopreneurs friends. What would be your advice for us?
Well, first, be aware of trends, but don't live by them. Um, I've had people who try to build brands strictly based on what was trending at the time, and that may be okay for for some products, but for the most part, it's important to know what the trend is, but it's also important to understand, does that trend reflect your brand? Is it appropriate for your brand? Um, it's so that is very important. It's very, very important to keep asking for feedback from your clients. Ask for, send them questionnaires, do polls online, or just speak to them if you can in person and find out what is it that they're looking for now. Because maybe what they were looking for 2 years ago when you created your brand, maybe that's changed. And that changes based on trends, based on economy, based on people aging. All of that plays part in how market changes. And so being in touch with clients, asking clients what are they looking for now, what would help them with the pain that they have, I think that is the key to staying relevant and really being agile as a brand, to be able to shift and mold, or shift and turn whenever necessary to stay relevant within the market that's changing all the time.
Yeah. I also wanted to, this is the example that I always tell my students about being adaptable, but also being grounded, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know if you guys are old enough over here. I know Ruth probably will know this, and myself, I'm just aging myself here. But Blockbuster, right? We had Blockbuster
Yeah.
in America. It was huge. It's everywhere. You get there, and you pick your movie, your VHS, right, and your laser disc. Okay, you take it out, and you're like, rent please, and you have your little ID blue. It says Blockbuster, right? Netflix was a nobody, had an idea, and went to Starbucks, Blockbuster, and said, "Hey, by the way, these are our ideas. Would you partner up with us and offer the services?" And Blockbuster's like, "No, I don't know you. Who are you? Bye." Right? Shut the door. And they took over. Right? And then they took over. So what I'm trying to tell you is this: everything that we do today is, think of it as an ocean. There's a lot of red ocean, meaning there's so many competition, there's so many sharks out there. You want to be in the blue ocean, right? I wanted to create a pink ocean because I like pink, but anyway, that's a different story. There is such a thing as a pink ocean. But what I want you guys to do, if you haven't read the Blue Ocean Strategy book, go ahead. It's, you have to create, what you're doing is nothing really new. It's an amalgamation of things that you've learned from the past. That's the reason why we love to learn from the past. But don't just go with what is trending and think you can run with it and sustain it, is what Ruth is saying. Right. So, what you do is, yes, this is what I want to do, but stay grounded on what you really want to do, but pay attention to your external environment, which I know my group, I will teach you SWOT and past analysis. And this will help you with your business. Is look at what, even politics. We hate politics. I don't know about you guys. I hate politics or political conversation. Even in my class, I'm like, let's not go there and argue left or right, okay? But what you need to do is that politicians affect your business. They make decisions of, higher taxes. You can't do import export if you're doing product manufacturing outside when you're importing. So you need to pay attention to politicians' rules, not the politics itself, but the rules that they're making that affect you as a business owner. Another one is economy. Inflation is real. Can people afford my product and services? Don't be asking, I value myself at $10,000, right? But now you have this people that you're trying, and now you're lowering your numbers because you're said you value yourself. You have to also see, you need to find balance. Yes, you need to add value. Yes, you have that, but there's also such thing as perceived value, right? Like, why do you buy Hermes with H in it for $1,500, $3,200, and you look at your bag, you're like, well, what value is that other than a name brand? Nothing. Right? And you can go to Trader Joe's and buy those, $10 or $5 bag, and you can put more stuff in there and don't feel bad that you didn't spend $3,200 on it. Is one thing. It's like trends is good to keep track because, like I said, the Blockbuster and the Netflix, you need to just pay attention. But at the end of the day, make sure you're true to yourself on who you are when you're branding yourself. Now, my last question, I can't believe we're almost done, Ruth. Like, this is a great conversation. I'm really having a good time. Like, I
Oh,
don't know
me
about you,
too.
but I'm having a good time. Um, if today is your last day on this earth,
Mm.
what would be your message to your future families?
Well, I think that one of the first things I would say, stay authentic and always be yourself. Never give yourself up. Never give up on who you are, and never try to be someone else for someone else. Always stay true, and really know why you're here. Find out your why. Find out your purpose, because honestly, purpose is something that has to be bigger than you. It can't just be. I mean, we look at purpose as an onion, and we're peeling it, right? I mean, there's a core of your purpose, and then there's all the extra layers, which most people will say, well, what is your, if I ask them what your purpose is, well, my purpose is to be here for my family, for my kids. I'm sure that's part of it. I'm not doubting that at all. But I don't think that that is really um, the core of your purpose, because purpose has to be bigger than you. It has to be something that you will probably, your cause has to be bigger than you, because you will never reach it, but you will die trying. And so I would tell my future families, always find why you get up in the morning, and always be true to yourself. Stay authentic.
Wow, that word has been thrown. Jesus, I can't count. I would need like 100 of my toes and my fingers just to count the word authenticity. And the people who scream authenticity is the most that are not authentic.
Mhm.
And it's really funny how that works. But, when you talk about authenticity, that means a lot to a lot of people. Yes, there's a general idea what that word means. But sometimes we do lie to ourselves too. We make excuses for people, right?
100%.
Because we're insecure, we want them to be our friend, we want them to be our client, and so we lie to ourselves even if we can't do it. You're like, yeah, we can do this. Ugh, why not? Believe in yourself, right? And you have to find that balance when you're looking at that.
I think so. I think it's well, there's a difference between being confident, and there's a difference between lying to myself. I mean, look, we've all done it. I've taken on jobs where I said, somebody asked me if I can do it, and be like, of course I can do it. And then I go and I find out how to do it. Um, but I think there is an awareness. It's about being aware that I am making this stuff up right now. This is really not truly me. But I think that in a big picture, being authentic is, I don't want to have to pretend to be someone I'm not. It's too, it takes so much energy. I just want to be me. I want to be able to say what I feel and what I think. And some people will like me for it, and some people will be my friends for it, and some people will not align with it. And that's okay, because obviously we're not meant to be, in the same circle. And that's totally okay. And I think that's what I mean by being authentic is, don't compromise your own values. Don't compromise who you are. Because we
Yes.
do that, and it is so easy to do. But we just have to be aware of that and stop it.
Yeah.
So that
Because
would
it's
be my suggestion.
right, like, oh, I want to belong or I want to do this. It's like
Mhm.
belonging is super important to human beings. So don't put it down like, oh, so you just want to belong to a group. No, it's not even about that. It's just the support that you get. It's again, it goes back to your emotions on how you're feeling accepted and how you're feeling, you know, growth and how you're feeling loved and all of these things. But at the end of the day, we cannot pretend to know what other people's thoughts are. I can't even think. Like, I think I can predict what my kids are saying. I can't. Okay. I've been married to my husband for 20 years and I think, oh, I can predict what he's thinking. For the most part, I can. I kind of know his habits by now. But really, I don't know what's in his head or his emotions. And I think that's what we do is we take our own experiences, prescribed it to the people that we're talking and think, well, I can do it, why can't you do it? You must be, you know what. It doesn't work like that.
But look, I mean, that is exactly what branding is all about. I mean, when we create brands, where the hope is that our brand is going to be so strong that we're going to have a tribe of loyal advocates. And who are these loyal advocates? They want to belong. They want to belong to a group that believes in the same thing. I mean, look at Harley Davidson. I mean, that is a prime example. I mean, there's people who don't even own Harleys, but they will buy merchandise because they want to be part of that tribe. They want to believe that because they believe in the same things that Harley believes in. So I think that belonging is massive for humans. We want to belong somewhere. That's what makes us feel safe and secure. So, and that's what branding is really all about, is creating areas or creating safe environment for those who want to believe in what we believe in.
Yeah, I challenge you guys, okay? I've been trying to think about this. Like, people are like, oh, this is the name. And I'm like, okay, so when I was thinking, and maybe you can help me with this, Ruth, people are like this name or that name. And I'm like, okay, how do we call my tribe? Level uppers? Like, that sounds so weird. I don't know what to call you guys. So that's your challenge. Okay, DM me, put it on this message, whatever, text me. What do we call our tribe? I'm about to create a membership club. Okay,
Mm.
it's not Price Club. It is not Costco Club. It's called the Level Up Club. So how do you do that? Like, I don't know. What do I call my tribe? Like, level uppers? Oh, we're from the level uppers. Like, it sounds so weird. So homework, guys. I'm a teacher, so homework.
There
Tell
you
me,
go. You
what do
gotta
you
you
call
gotta put on a deadline on that though. If you want it as a homework, there's gotta be a deadline.
July 1st? That's
All
your
right,
homework due date. July 1st, people.
perfect.
What do we call our tribe? I don't know.
Sounds
Uppers?
sounds like a plan.
Nicole, the creatives. Yeah. But if you put the creatives, that could mean a lot of things, right? But when I think of creatives, I think of like the art and all those things. And I do like makeup, but I can't draw to save my life. Don't even. I would die instantly. Like, CJ, draw a person. I'm like, circle, maybe. But yeah, what's your last message, Ruth, for all of our people here?
Start with why. Find out why you do what you do. It will change your life, and it will be so much easier to build your personal brand, and that will naturally reflect in your business brand. But you really got to know why you're doing it.
Focus on the why. And for me, I always look at when I go through my adversity, I always say, okay, CJ, your mission is bigger than your adversity. Keep going, because what you're doing is not just for you. It's not all about you at this moment. It's going to be for the people. However, it's also important to take the time to breathe and reset, because if you're not feeling good physically, mentally, and spiritually, your work is going to suffer. It's going to show,
Of course.
right? And your attitude will
Hmm.
show.
Sure.
And so, and the people that are around you can feel that, and you're going to lose friends, and you're going to lose people, good people,
Mhm.
because you're having major attitude and we can't figure out what's happening, right? Just be open, be transparent, and find out your why. We're here, right, Ruth?
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was a blast. It was fabulous.
Bye, everybody. Don't
All
forget
right.
to do the 50 inspirational and connect with Ruth. This is Ruth. Let me see if I can find Ruth's information. I don't know if I am correct on this one, Ruth. Is this you?
That's me.
That's right. Connect with Ruth, everybody. If you need some brilliance in your brand and unveiling the art of, strategic branding, this woman has full of that information. Wait, Ruth, do you have an audio room?
We're actually doing an audio next Thursday, and it's a LinkedIn audio. And it is actually, if you go to my profile, you're gonna see it. It's one of my latest posts, and it's gonna be Thursday 1 o'clock. And the topic for next week's discussion is going to be customer experience, and is it really important?
Ooh,
So I would
custom.
love anybody who has an opinion on that, or who has a story to share. I would love for you to join us, and let us know what you think.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming. We love you guys. Homework.